Today I'm going to speak on agenda item number 5. Today you'll be discussing the amended CRD bylaw 2805, which has been negotiated in good faith between the Township of Esquimalt and the CRD staff in order that an agreement on the rezoning issue for McLaughlin Point might finally reach resolution. In researching this topic, I've primarily relied on the 2010 Westland Report, now called TERRA, that was commissioned by the CRD, called Consideration in Preparing a Community Benefit Framework for the CRD's Wastewater Treatment Program. So I've done the summarizing for you. Basically, the report boils down to a definition between the notion of mitigation on the one hand and a community benefit on the other hand. Now, this may seem to be a case of semantics or wordsmithing, but the difference between these two definitions has financial implications for the project. Mitigation measures would be covered by the project budget, whereas community benefits are seen as falling outside the scope of the budget. Let's begin with a definition of mitigation and then look at what's being offered by the CRD. From the report, I quote, "Mitigation is always linked to a project's adverse impacts. If a wastewater treatment facility appearance causes visual impacts, then mitigation could involve architectural treatment to improve the visual appearance for people who would be affected. Further, construction and operation of CRD wastewater treatment infrastructure will result in environmental and social impacts that do require mitigation. The mitigation will be related to such factors as land use change, environmental effects, noise, viewscapes, traffic, and odor. Effective mitigation of CRD infrastructure impacts are associated with the CRD's own Good Neighbor policy and have been applied to Heartland Landfill, the Curry Road Pump Station, and the Trent Street Pump Station. The design of the Trent Street Pump Station used extensive odor control, acoustic mitigation technologies, and an aesthetically pleasing exterior. The foregoing actions are considered mitigation measures because they responded to specific impacts." End quote. Now, here's the list of mitigation measures as offered to the township by the CRD. Barging of construction materials, matter of public safety. Traffic management plan, LEED gold standard for operations and maintenance building, odor control standard specifications, bike and pathway development along Lyle Street as part of laying the heat loop down and for public safety, a design review process, public water access to on-site public walkway, and a resource recovery system. We would also categorize the $55,000 a year compensation fee as a mitigation factor. None of the foregoing listed items would fall under the description of community benefit as described in the Westland report. If we look to the report, we can see that the $80,000 a year that Saanich receives for Heartland Landfill falls under the category of other rather than community benefit. Of course, we would assume that the CRD would want to treat all communities within the region equally with respect to building of major infrastructure projects. Now, let's look at a community benefit as defined in the report by way of example. I turn to the community benefits created by the CRD with respect to Heartland Landfill in 1994. Quote, "As part of developing the landfill, the CRD provided the local community with community benefits. In 1994, approximately 200 surplus acres of land purchased for Heartland Landfill was transferred from CRD Engineering to CRD Parks to establish Mount Work Regional Park. $200,000 in funding from the solid waste budget was used for park development. Operations and maintenance comes out of the CRD Parks Department budget. Development of the landfill required draining of Heel Lake. The CRD Solid Waste Department purchased a privately owned lake south of the landfill, Killarney Lake, to provide a community benefit to the local community for the loss of Heel Lake at a cost of approximately $3 million. End quote.
Thank you, Ms.
Nice.
Krahn. Your time is up.